We celebrate 50 years of broadcasting in Yorkshire.
And we are back where it all began, at this building in Leeds. We'll be looking back at some of the biggest events the region has covered since 1968. From floods to disputes, disasters to triumphs, we'll hear from former colleagues who covered the big stories and went on to become household names.
And from the tape reel to digital video, we'll also take a look at how technology has drastically changed the way we work. We'll also look at the changing face of Yorkshire over the last 50 years, as more people come to live and work in the greatest place on earth.
Can you believe for 20 years you said to me, now here's Paul with an accurate weather forecast. I've got news of tomorrow's sofa tour, plus could winter be on its way back, really? Join us all live from Woodhouse Lane.
This is BBC North.
Hello and welcome to Woodhouse Lane. You know, I absolutely love this place because we broadcasted most of our 50 years from here. And I just want you just to have a look behind me as we pan round and see if you can make out some of the known faces, of course, and some of those from the past as well. I don't know which is the better side, but they're all pretty good as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it was the 25th of March 1968 when Look North first went on air, and we reckon there's been 13,000 episodes since then, and this wonderful man, Harry, has presented around 9,000 of those. Now, although you may recognise some faces in the room, some may have changed a little over the last 50 years, but the way in which TV works certainly has. Olivia Richwald has been delving into the archives.
Pop-Tart! BBC North from Leeds.
March the 25th, 1968.
Good evening.
Look North was on the air for the very first time. We were in black and white, played out on film reels.
There are more acres in Yorkshire than there are...
Colour arrived in the mid-70s, but sound and pictures were still being recorded separately to be reunited at the editing stage. This rare behind-the-scenes footage shows a microphone cable trailing from one boat to another. For the first 2 decades, Look North reports were spliced and then fixed back together with sticky tape on the Steenbeck editing machine, which is now preserved at the Yorkshire Film Archive.
You had to place the film in the splicer, and then you actually cut the film, and then you cut the sound as well at a slopey angle, and you used a little bit of sellotape to make the join. When you watch old film very carefully, if you look at the join, if you didn't get a really smooth join, you can still see the little bit of sellotape going through. We then moved through tape, and we're now through onto digital editing. But editing always remains the same in your head. You're still joining together sound and picture, and that's what I really like.
Minutes to the opt.
Behind every good programme is a diligent team working in the gallery. Diane Marshall has worked for Look North for 42 years and keeps us all on time.
With you in under a minute now, Amy, stand by. I started working for Look North in January 1976. There were no computers, not even an electric typewriter. And reporters, when they were out on a story, would have to go into a phone box, reverse the charges to ring in and phone, copy over the phone, and people would be bashing away on these typewriters. We didn't have any satellite trucks, so we couldn't do any outside broadcasts, whereas today I can have 3 or 4 satellite trucks out in one evening if it's a big story. With you in 1 minute, Harry.
I'm speaking to the reporters saying, you've 30 seconds left. Wind now.
Sutcliffe was led up into the dock, handcuffed to a plainclothes detective.
From the 1990s onwards, technological advances have enabled Look North to become a more immediate news programme. Mobile phones, computers and the internet have revolutionised journalism.
Good evening and welcome
We
to...
can report live from multiple locations.
The great joy now is that, of course, you can edit out in the sticks.
25 winters I've covered.
You could never do that when I started. You literally, unless you were doing a live, and even that had to be booked by a complex operation. Now you can be editing out on location at 6:25 and still be firing your piece into the programme.
From 1968 to 2018, the way we gather our material has changed a lot, but some stories will always make the news. We've tried to reflect Yorkshire life. But what about the future? As technologies become smaller and cheaper, we've been able to cover more stories. And increasingly, as well as featuring in our reports, Yorkshire people are now filming parts of them too. Olivia Richwald, happy birthday, BBC Look North.
Now let me introduce you to two people who sum up really what Look North and News is all about. They are giants in their own way. Jeremy Thompson, who's worked for everybody all over the world, started here at Look North as well, and Paul Berriff, who was on our first ever programme. We'll come to you in a moment, if I may, Paul. But I want to remind people just how good Jeremy Thompson was. Take a look at this, his coverage of the Black Panther.
It was 3:45 on a bitterly cold January morning when the Black Panther staged his first major crime. The year was 1971. The victim was to be Donald Swallow, the postmaster in the tiny pit village of Jump near Barnsley.
Now, in those days, Jeremy, you had to be very, very quick to even get anything actually on air, didn't you?
Quick? Well, we thought we were quick, but compared with breaking news these days, it was probably pretty slow, really, because there were no mobile phones, which people might find pretty hard to grasp. There was no sort of modern technology, no digital age, no smartphones. We went out there with a film camera in the morning and filmed a story and came back at the end of the day when we finished it. There was no sort of picking up phones and having directions. And then the film had to be put in the processing bath and then cut in the edit rooms. It was actually quite a lengthy and sort of drawn out process. We thought we were as quick as Flash, but we clearly weren't.
You're